even though India was very, very advanced in terms of religious freedom, women had absolutely no status whatsoever. Yeah, women were treated, when a cow gives birth, everybody celebrates. When a woman gives birth to a baby girl, everybody cries. Okay, and even right down to now, for some mad reason, they say it's better to have a boy than a girl. Okay, and it's a stupid thing, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so women were badly treated. One, they had no respect. Now the Buddha was concerned that if they become nuns and live on their own, away from the protection of their husbands, they are fair game for anyone. Alright? And women who live on their own will be in a lot of danger. So, for those kinds of reasons, the Buddha was reluctant to allow women to become nuns. It's not ever because he felt they were inferior. He never gives any indication in all his sutras that women are in any way inferior to men. Okay? But when he was 40 years old, the women from the court came and appealed to the Buddha refused. So they spoke to Venerable Ananda. Even today, women pay special respect to Ananda because he's the woman's. By the way, he was apparently very, very handsome. Anyway, I'm glad he anyway, so Venerable Ananda came and approached on their behalf. The Buddha still refused. And on the third time, Ananda challenged the Buddha and said, well, wrong word to use, but told the Buddha, is it because women are inferior? Is it because women cannot have the same spiritual attainment as men? The Buddha said no. Then Ananda said, then you have to give it to them, and the Buddha agreed. Why did he agree? Because they had walked. It is said that they had walked all the way from, I don't know whether it was Vaishali or Jetavana. But they had walked all the way from the Kapilavastu, and they were outside, their feet were all torn. Remember, they were royal family, but they had walked and their feet were all torn and they were all dirty and they were crying outside the monastery. And Venerable Ananda felt sorry for them. So he spoke on their behalf. And then the Buddha said, okay, I will institute the order of nuns. So, order of monks, 35th year, order of nuns, 40th year. Now, the way it happens is, from the Buddha, he hands down the order. Then, 5 monks will then hand it to the next. No, a monk can hand over, but the higher ordination, there must be 5 monks. There must be a quorum of 5 present. Right? Same with women. 5 monks and 5 nuns. This is going to become important in a minute. All right? And from that time, when Venerable Sangamitta, remember Venerable Mahinda brought Buddhism, his sister brought the Bodhi tree. But more important than the Bodhi tree, she came with her attendants and she brought the nuns' order to Sri Lanka. This nuns' order lived in Sri Lanka until about 1190. Then with the Tamil invasions, the women were wiped out. So there was no more women's order in the Theravada tradition here. Okay? So, I'm already there, so cannot go to Myanmar. Because Myanmar is later and cannot go to Thailand. Okay? So, in Thailand and Myanmar, till today, there is no women's order. Why? Because nobody to hand it down. Okay. All the monks that went to China, this is a beautiful story. All the monks that went to China were men. That's why they were called monks. Anyway. All right. And Buddhism spread, and there were women who said, we want to become nuns. But the monks said, no, cannot. Because to hand over the lineage, we must have a quorum of 5 and 5. 5 monks we can get, but we can't get 5 nuns. So they said, so you can live as 10 preceptors. They wear the white mechis. Yeah? But they of course didn't go around restaurants collecting money. Okay, right. So they were still not happy because that was not what they wanted. So what they did was, they appealed to the king, who wrote a letter to the king of Sri Lanka. This is, oh, by the way, sorry. This is in 434 CE. That means when Buddhism is about 1,000 years old. Okay, this is long before Buddhism dies out in Sri Lanka, okay? Long before. Buddhism is very, very well established here, established in China, but no nuns in China. So they write to the king of Sri Lanka, okay, and the king of Sri Lanka agrees to send 5 nuns. And I think her name was Deva Putra or something. Alright? She, along with 4 other nuns, to make up the quorum, yeah, you know what they do? They take a ship from Sri Lanka. This is in 434. Okay? They take a ship from Sri Lanka, they come to this coast, they do shopping in Malacca, I'm sure. Alright? And then Singapore, turn around and finally arrive in Canton. Stay there until they learn the Chinese language. When they have learned, by the time they have learned the Chinese language, another 8 nuns join them. Now I cannot for the life of me understand what type of women they must have been. Imagine coming all, leaving this country, yeah, no roti canai, no sambal, no nothing here, eating Chinese food, yeah, and living here, learning Chinese, and now they have the quorum. So they had the quorum to give the official Buddha's lineage, from the Buddha to Sanghamitra, from Sanghamitra to Queen Anula, from Queen Anula to, what's the name, her name I forget. But anyway, so she arrives here, and then, so Chinese nuns order is established. Now, the most beautiful part of the story, by the 20th century, women in Sri Lanka are educated. This is our time already. Women are educated, but there are no nuns. Why? Because the order had died out. There are no nuns in Thailand, no nuns in Myanmar. What are they to do? So the order cannot be handed down to them. All right? And the monks in Sri Lanka and Thailand refuse to hand the thing because they say it's broken. And once it's broken, we refuse to do it. But they say, hey, look, use your common sense like last time. You know, we are nuns, we want to be nuns. What's the big deal? Why are you throwing the book at us and say, according to this rule, you cannot, you must have 5 and 5, and so on. Okay? So, they said, I would have said, get somebody cut all the fingers off and say like that. It says cannot, anybody can. Okay? Right, anyway, what they did was, in recent times, what they did was they went back to China. And they said, since we are the ones who gave it to China in the first place, now you hand it back to us. You scratch our back now. And do you know our late Chief Reverend was one of those who was involved in that? One of the most important ones was they went back to Bodh Gaya. And in Bodh Gaya, Chief Reverend, along with nuns, Chinese nuns, ordained a lot of Sinhalese ladies. And today, we have Sinhalese order restored. So thanks to the Chinese. Okay. Thanks to the Sinhalese, the Chinese